Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am really excited for today's video. I'm going to be collabing with Morgan Turner Makeup. She is a YouTuber here and she covers like luxury, high-end, I want to say predominantly, but I have definitely seen her throw in like some drugstore hauls and drugstore makeup tutorials, and her content is wonderful. She has a wonderful disposition. You can see like her enthusiasm with everything, but it's not like over the top, and she presents information in a really clear way, and I think she's very, very thorough, and I love that. And she does reviews, and she does very, very timely reviews of new releases. So if you guys are into like new releases and like you need a review before you run out and buy it, definitely check out her channel. And we've been, getting to know each other a little bit more as we've been texting, kind of talking about this collab, and she's just sweet. She's just a really, really sweet person, and I really wanted to collab with her because she's much younger than I am, so she's going to have a very different like skin type than I do, and she's going to have a different perspective on things. So I'm so excited that she decided to collab with me, and thank you very much, Morgan. Definitely check out her channel. I will leave a link down below in my description box. What we're going to be doing is a hero makeup products challenge. Now, I posted a video like this a couple weeks ago at this point, and basically what I did was I did a full face using hero products from different brands, and the challenge part was that I couldn't repeat brands. So it was really, really fun to come up with the list, and it was even more fun to kind of go through your comments and see exactly how many like hero products there are out there. So I wanted to do another video like this because I wanted to see if I could come up with another full face without repeating brands. And when I suggested this to Morgan for our collab, she was really excited for it. She said that she really enjoyed my video, and we just had so much fun coming up with our list. So we actually kind of collaborated our list because we didn't want any duplicates. So I don't have any dupes from my video previously, and Morgan and I this week don't have any dupes for each other. So definitely check out her video if you want to see a whole different list of hero products. So what I consider to be hero products are products that pretty much kind of like put the brand on the map, or it's what the brand is known for. They're not necessarily like personal hero products. And in fact, a lot of these products aren't my favorites from the line, but I know that's what the brand is kind of known for. So anyway, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with primer, and I've got the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. This is a relatively new kind of hero product, I think, for Tatcha. I want to say their first hero product maybe was that Dewy Skin Mist. I feel like that's what everyone was talking about. That's how people, I think, like first heard of Tatcha. But now I feel like this is a really popular product, and a product that a lot of people are curious about and have brought them over to Tatcha. So I like this primer, but it's definitely not my favorite. So this is a great example of a hero product that is not a personal hero product. So I just like kind of rubbing my finger in here, getting a little bit, definitely don't need a lot of this product, and just kind of swiping it all over my face. And I do like this product in that it gives you, like it says, like it gives you a really kind of beautiful canvas for your makeup. Very, very smooth. But because my skin is so dry, I prefer a primer that also has like moisturizing benefits. And this doesn't really. I don't feel like it dries out my skin, but I don't feel like it does anything for my dry skin. So that's why I like this primer, but it's like not my like absolute favorite. All right, next up we have foundation, and last week I mentioned the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I feel like that's got to be the most popular product from their line. Oh, and speaking of what I talked about last week, for primers, I talked about the Sicily Double Tenseur, which I think is very popular, and I feel like people probably had never heard of Sicily until everyone on YouTube kind of started talking about this particular primer. It was my first time using that primer, and it was wonderful. If you want your like foundation to stay on and to go on really smoothly, I recommend that primer. And in fact, I was using like a little sample packet that I have of it. I am very, very tempted to get that. It's not really for dry skin, like I was just mentioning. I think the primers I gravitate towards kind of nourish my skin. I didn't get that feeling, but man, oh man, did it make my makeup look really, really good, and for a long time. But anyway, back to this week. I have the La Mer, the Soft Fluid Foundation, has an SPF 20. And I do feel like this is La Mer's hero product in terms of their color. Obviously, I think La Mer is known for their skin cream. They're the cream, the moisturizing cream, and then all of the subsequent kind of products that have evolved out of that original cream. But in terms of their makeup, I would say it has to be this foundation. Maybe the original powder. The new powder, maybe not so much, but their original powder would be a tie in terms of like a hero product for La Mer. But since that's not available anymore, we're gonna go with this foundation. I have it in the color Neutral 22. And in terms of a personal favorite, this is definitely one of my favorite foundations. This always ends up when I do like a top 5 list of foundations. This always ends up on there. It's so good. It really feels very creamy on the skin. It blends in really easily. It has like, I want to say a medium, it kind of depends on how much product you use right off the bat, but I want to say it easily has a medium coverage. And I'm not someone that tends to like a heavier coverage. Medium is kind of as full of a coverage as I like to go, but this just looks so natural on the skin, even though it provides that coverage, that I just love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, next up we have concealer, and the one that I picked for this week is actually the other one I mentioned in the first video I did, and that is the YSL Touche Éclat. So I have it in the shade 1.5, and this is a product that I actually just recently picked up. I don't know, for some reason never really got on that bandwagon, even though I feel like it's totally in my wheelhouse. It has a very light coverage. I think people use it sometimes more for like a highlighting pen. Anyway, YSL came out with a version of this that has a higher coverage. So I went ahead and bought this because I wanted to compare the two. And that one definitely does have more coverage than this one. But this is like the OG. So I thought I would go with this. Did I tell you what shade I am? 1.5. I think I did mention that. Okay. Just gonna dab a little under the eye and on the lid. And I'm just gonna use my finger and blend this in. It's really, really creamy. It blends out easily, and I do feel like it doesn't like sink into fine lines, which is why for me personally, I think it's great for like under the eye. But you can see that the coverage is like, it's light, but there's definite this like highlighting kind of effect, which almost like helps with the camouflaging. I definitely get why so many people love this product. It's actually something I feel like I need to whip out a little bit more. So there it is all over the eye area. I really, really do enjoy this product. I don't know why I don't use it more often, but it is very, very lovely. So that's the YSL Touche Éclat. Definitely a hero product for them. So we're gonna go kind of out of order only because I kind of messed up on my blush pick. So I picked NARS Orgasm. So in my original video, I picked NARS, just, full stop, like NARS blush, and I used Madly, which happens to be my favorite NARS blush. I can be such a bobblehead. So many of you were like, NARS Orgasm? Like that would have been my pick. And I'm like, oh yeah, duh. So I went ahead and made that this week's pick, NARS Orgasm. Promptly forgot that I don't actually have NARS Orgasm. I don't actually like that blush on me at all. So I don't actually have a powder version of NARS Orgasm, but I do have this Orgasm palette, which does have a shade in here called Orgasm, but these are all cream products. So this guy down here is the Orgasm shade, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and use that. But since this is a cream product, I'm gonna go ahead and put some down first, but these are all very, very light. They're almost like blush toppery kind of highlighter products. Anyway, this palette is very interesting, but I'm gonna put some down now and then we'll put some on again later. All right, so there is a bit of that cream NARS Orgasm on there. All right, so let's talk about setting powder, and this is kind of a cheat from my original video because I mentioned these powders in terms of finishing powder, but this is the Hourglass Ambient Light. But when I use it in terms of a finishing powder, I like luminous light, but when I use it in terms of a setting powder, I like diffused light personally. But I do think that these powders are definitely one of Hourglass's hero products, if not their hero product. I feel like if this wasn't the first product that they came out with, this was definitely the first line that they came out with that people started to really kind of pay attention to them. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Diffuse Light today, and this is the one that has a little bit of a yellow tint to it, and I have found that yellow powders do a nice job kind of brightening my skin tone. So I'm using my Hourglass powder brush, and I'm just going to kind of pounce a little bit. And while I'm not like the biggest fan of these hourglass powders, or actually any hourglass powders, because I feel like they tend to look really thick on the skin very, very quickly, I do like this diffuse light the most. For some reason, this one I feel like looks the lightest and most natural on the skin. But when I use like luminous light, dim light, or even like the Veil Loose powder, I feel like I can see like the layer of powder on there. But for some reason with diffuse light, I can kind of go in with a heavy hand and it's okay. It never really ends up looking that thick. I mean, it will eventually, because that's happened to me, but it seems to take longer with this shade on my skin. So this is diffuse light all over the skin. I'm really enjoying this actually. I think I need to pull this one back out. I really have not used these powders in quite some time. All right, and then when I did this video originally, I didn't do any contour, and many of you were like, you skipped contour, you should have done a contour. And of course, many of you suggested Kevyn Aucoin. His sculpting powder is definitely the hero product of that line, and I feel like Kevyn Aucoin, in terms of makeup artist, I feel like that was his gift to us, like just making sure that you use like a cool toned powder if you're gonna go ahead and contour. So I actually have his sculpting powder in medium, which is a little bit deep for me, and it's inside this like eyeshadow face palette. It's this powder right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. I'm gonna use a very light hand and a very fluffy brush. I'm gonna go in with my Chikuhodo GSN 4 and just pick up a little bit and just contour right underneath my cheekbone. And then I'm going to take my Sonia G Detail Pro brush and put some under my lip here. Make my lip look a little more pouty, or it's just going to make it, I don't know, look dirty. Just right here. You know, I use such a little amount on my nose, but it looks really kind of dramatic in the camera. I hope it doesn't look too weird. Okay, next up we have bronzer, and last week I picked a bronzer from Guerlain because I think Guerlain is just known for bronzers, and I think they were the first company actually to come out with bronzers, that idea of a bronzer. But anyway, so many of you commented that you would have picked this Chanel Soleil Tendé Chanel, and this definitely is a hero product for Chanel. I feel like I see so many people talk about this product despite whether or not they have any other Chanel product in their collection, but they have this one. So I like applying this with a sponge. So I have my Juno & Co sponge here, and I just dip it right in, pick up just a little bit of product. So I'm just going to go in with the sponge and just kind of stamp it all over where I want to bronze. And this bronze is great because it is very, very subtle, but effective, right? Like immediately I feel like I look like a little bit sun-kissed. And I'm definitely not. When I do use a cream product over powder though, I make sure, and that's probably why I like using a sponge, is I just don't swipe or make any grand gestures with the cream product. I just kind of stamp it on just so I don't disturb any of the product underneath. Okay, and now for highlight. This product is actually kind of two products in one, and this probably could have worked for the contour as well, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, and I have it in the shade Fair Medium. I feel like this product, almost like the Chanel, like I've seen people talk about this product and they may not have any other Charlotte Tilbury product in their collection, but they had heard about this product and they wanted to get this product. And you know, I think Charlotte Tilbury is one of those brands that has a lot of hero products, but I do feel like this is one of them. Let's go ahead and use this Film Star Bronze and Glow, the glow part. And for me personally, this was not like the first highlighter I ever purchased, but I think this was the first highlighter I was like, oh, okay. All right, this is what it's supposed to look like on my skin. It's just the perfect tone for me because there's a little bit of peachiness in there and it just looks really, really kind of natural on my skin tone. I mean, you know, as natural as a highlighter can look, but yeah, it just really works for my skin tone. Isn't that amazing? It looks like really, really wet, but you really have to be in the light. Like it's not just like super metallic, it's just super reflective. And I love that. And it's like just icy enough, but there's like a little bit of warmth. Such a good one. So this was my pick for highlighter. And I'm just gonna go back in with some of this Orgasm, this cream blush, because I feel like it's completely lost now. I'm gonna go back in with this sponge actually and try and use like a clean edge of it. And I'm just gonna stamp some right on top there. Okay, moving on. Eyebrows. So Glossier Boy Brow. This, I feel like definitely is what put Glossier on the map. I think their first product was the balm.com. Is that what they call it? The one in the little tube. I think that was their first product. At least that's what I remember seeing first from them. And then this was, I feel like, what totally made them explode. It was right when like eyebrows started to get like a little bit more fluffy and hairy and like overgrown looking, and it was like, you know, you couldn't achieve it without the Glossier Boy Brow. So I have black and brown, but I decided to grab brown for a little bit of a softer look. And this was my favorite brow product for a very long time. It has a super teeny brush at the end there, which I really love, but you guys know, I love the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. That is just the brow product that I can't live without. But I still love this one. It has a really nice texture. It's a little bit, I want to say it's a little bit wetter than the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. That one is like a little drier, but this one just does a really good job, like I said, like making your brows look really like overgrown and fluffy. And I like that it does not have that like crunchy feel to it. It kind of dries down a little bit, but it's like a pomade, so it doesn't ever really get like hard, which I don't like at all. I don't like that feeling, especially on my eyebrows, because I feel like I'm moving my eyebrows all the time, and when they're crunchy, oh my god, it's such a weird feeling. So there is the Glossier, my god, I'm like back in New York. There is the Glossier Boy Brow. Okay, next up, eyeshadows. I'm gonna see if you guys can guess. Can you guess? Pat McGrath. We're going to be doing Pat McGrath eyes. Can't remember what I talked about last week. Was it lipstick? I think I did Pat McGrath lipsticks. Anyway, Pat McGrath eyeshadows. These were like a moment. When the Mothership palettes came out, it was a moment. It was a moment, and a moment that a lot of people couldn't just let pass. So I pulled out my two favorites. I pulled out Bronze Seduction, which is Mothership 5, and Subliminal. Yeah, Subliminal, which is Mothership 1. So I'm going to go in with Mothership 1 first. I like using this color as a transition shade. I'm taking my Sonia G Crease 2 brush, and I love these matte shades. I find them to be kind of like right in between really powdery eyeshadows and shadows that are like really creamy. I feel like these shadows kind of have the best of both worlds. They kind of have a creamy feeling to them, but sometimes I find like powder shadows just a little bit easier to work with. I don't know, I hope I'm making sense, but I really enjoy Pat McGrath shadows. And so many of you ask me all the time, Pat McGrath or Natasha Denona, or like, what's your favorite? And Pat McGrath usually comes out on top. It takes me a while to think about it, but I usually go with Pat McGrath. Okay, now I'm going to jump over to Bronze Seduction. I'm going to use this shade right there. It's a little bit warmer, a little bit deeper, and just deepen this up a little bit more. Just focusing it on the corner there. All right, and then I'm going to take this red shade from Bronze Seduction because I just love it, and I'm going to tap that onto the rest of my lid here. I'm going to take that Crease 2 brush and just swipe it over the edge there and just blend it out. I'm going to take a little bit more of this deeper brown color, just a touch, and blend out that top edge. And then I'm going to take my Sonia G Smudger 2 brush, go into this same brown color, and I'm just going to kind of run this along my lower lash line. Okay, next up we have eyeliner, and I'm not exactly sure why I did this to myself, but I picked the Inglot gel eyeliner number 77, which is their black. This was, at least for me, the hero product for Inglot because like I had never heard of this brand before, and it seemed like all the YouTubers were using it, so I ran out and purchased this. And it's actually a little bit easier to apply than I thought it would be, but it's still not like the easiest thing in the whole world. And I've had this for a while. Oh, it doesn't look dry. Let's see. I took out some mixing medium because I just assumed it was going to be dry, but it's actually okay. I'm surprised. It's like not pulling away from the sides at all or anything. Okay, so I'm using the Sigma Angled Brow Brush. It's the E74. It's smaller. It's on the smaller side, which I like. What I like to do is, and I kind of do this when I use like dip brow or like brow pomades, I'll dip the brush into the pot, and then you kind of have all this product at the tip of the brush. So what I'll do, I usually do it like on the inside of the cap here, is I'll start to kind of smear it and make sure it's just at a nice kind of thin point. you know, I'll just kind of go back and forth so that you don't have like a clump of product kind of just sitting at the tip of your brush. So that's what I like to do. And there is a reason why everyone loves this gel eyeliner. It does not come off. When it sets down, it sets down. Like it's not moving. And it's actually even a little bit difficult to remove at night. You definitely have to go in with like an oil and kind of let it like sit there for a while to kind of break it down. But that's good. That's good on some days. So let me go in and hopefully do this. Oh, I hate when I do that. I don't blink. And then my eyes completely dry out and my contacts feel like they're gonna fall out. All right, that is as good as it's gonna get right now. But sometimes I find this to be a little bit easier to use than a pen, only because a pen is so liquidy and this is actually a little sticky. So you can kind of like, I don't know, like work it in. It's just different. It's a very different experience. But if you need like an eyeliner to stick, to like stay on all day, I would try this. There is a reason why this is like Inglott's hero product. So. Okay, I just curled my eyelashes because we're gonna talk about mascara now, and I picked the Lancome Monsieur Big. I really feel like this has become Lancome's hero product. I mean, Lancome is a brand that's been around forever. I really feel like they're known for their Bifacil, is that what it's called? It's like the blue makeup remover, but we're talking about makeup. And this is one of those products that I feel like you may not have Lancome, you may not be interested in any other piece in their line, but you have their Monsieur Big. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. This is a new one. I had a waterproof one. That one started to get a little bit flaky, so I tossed it. But this one is a new kind of like deluxe travel size. I do really like the brush on this, or at least the looks of it. Okay, let's move on to lips. And for lip liner, I decided to go with the Edward Best Defining Lip Liner, and I have it in the shade Barely. And I picked this one because, first of all, many of you actually mentioned this. And second of all, I think it was Tati, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Tati that mentioned this product. And now I feel like everyone kind of knows Edward Best because of her and because of this lip liner. So I decided to go with this one. And this color is... it's not really my favorite. It's a little bit on the light peachy side, but it's the only one I have from him. So we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so there is Barely applied. I like this lip liner, but I don't think for me personally, it's my hero product from Edward Best. I really enjoy his mascara a lot. That wand is amazing. That wand will like just catch and like grab onto your eyelashes. It's amazing. And I really like his Ultra Dewy Complexion Perfector. It's like a lightweight foundation. Absolutely love that. I think I like those two products more than this lip liner, but this is nice. Definitely a very nice lip liner. Okay, and my pick for lipstick, Tom Ford. I think this is definitely one of the hero products from the line. I do think Tom Ford is one of those lines where there are a lot of hero products. I felt like when I was going through comments and everything, there were so many things. Like people were saying like Tom Ford eyeshadows. Last week I picked the eye defining pen, the dual-ended like liquid liner. A lot of people mentioned the lipsticks. Some people mentioned his blushes. Some people mentioned his foundations. But I do feel like his lipsticks stand out in terms of a hero product. I do feel like a lot of people's like gateway drug into Tom Ford are his lipsticks. So I decided to go with this color, which is a Boys and Girls Lip Color Sheer in Philippa. This is actually part of the Nordstrom set. That's part of the anniversary sale. So I picked this one merely because it went with this lip liner of Edward Best's. I do really, really love Tom Ford lipsticks. They are so, so comfortable on the lips. I feel like his color range is like the best one out there. There's so many good colors, and they really speak to me because I happen to like metallic and frosty lips, and like, you know, I like my lips to have like a little something in there, and I feel like so many of his colors have that. Like there's always like a little something in the lip color. So I'm a big fan of Tom Ford lipsticks. I would definitely say that the lipsticks are a hero product for me. It was the first two products that I purchased from Tom Ford were lipsticks. Okay, for lip gloss, I decided to go with the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. This, I feel like you just like couldn't get through any YouTube videos out there without someone mentioning this lip gloss, at least when it first came out. And I have to say, I think this is my favorite, my personal favorite product from Fenty. This is my hero product from Fenty, so I wanted to mention it. It's a great universal color. It's a great formula. The scent of it reminds me of something from my childhood. I think so many of us have said that, and I just can't pinpoint what it is. Yeah, I still can't pinpoint what it is. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and apply some over Philippa. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to see it. All right, so 2 more things for finishing powder. The Guerlain Meteorites. And Morgan and I actually, we didn't like fight over it, but she was like, oh, I mentioned the Guerlain Meteorites. So anyway, she gave it to me. Thank you, Morgan. So I have it in the shade medium, and I have so many different varieties of the Meteorites. It was like once I started using them, I'm just like completely addicted. I just love the finish it gives my skin. It's just wonderful. And I feel like these pearls in here, like this is so iconic. Even if you don't even know who makes these, like you've seen this product. So I do feel like this is definitely one of Guerlain's hero products for sure. So I'm using my Sonia G Face One brush here, my favorite finishing powder brush. And unfortunately, I think it's sold out again. This brush is so good. You know, I'm not surprised that it just continuously sells out. This is the best finishing brush by far. All right, last but not least, setting spray. I think the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray is pretty iconic for them. I don't have a lot of Urban Decay stuff, but this one I have repurchased a couple of times, and I think this could have been, no, actually, the Naked Smoky palette was the first thing I purchased from them. But I think this could probably be the second thing I purchased from them. And when I was living in New York, where it's much more humid, like much more humid than it is here in Vegas, I really was looking for something that was going to just like cement the makeup to my face. And this does it. This setting spray lives up to the hype for sure. All right, so that is it for this Hero Makeup Products Challenge. Definitely let me know what some of your thoughts are down below in the comments section. Do not forget to check out Morgan's channel. You're gonna love her. If you haven't discovered her already, I'd be surprised actually if you didn't know who she was, but if you haven't discovered her already, don't forget to check out her channel. Don't forget to check out her video. I will link it all down below in my description box. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.